Good afternoon. It's September 4th, I think, and walking a little later in the day than I usually do. Mainly because it's getting cooler now, so I don't feel I have to go out first thing in order to get the cool air. And also, walking at a different time of day gives a chance for maybe different people to find me on here during the live portion of the walk. My plan is to head over to the Grow Regina Community Garden. I've been there a few times, but I thought I'd check it out after the hailstorm the other night, see if it got hit. It's a little further south than here, and we were kind of on the edge, so hopefully it didn't get clobbered too badly. All the people growing vegetables and flowers and things, not flowers so much there, but mostly it's more of a vegetable garden than anything else. So that's where we're headed. It's been a good, productive week for me. I finished The Tangled Stars editing, my next novel for Dog Books, and I submitted it, so that was exciting. Then I promptly wrote the short story, which comes out of that same world, and in fact has a certain amount of material that's drawn from the novel. It's called Tybalt's Tale. Tybalt is the genetically modified AI uplifted cat who's the main character. And in fact, this short story covers the meeting of the three main characters. My main character is a fellow named Cooper Douglas, Coop for short, Lisa Gray, and Tybalt. It's how they encounter and rescue Tybalt from someplace he needs rescuing from. So that's Tybalt's Tale. That was my short story for the anthology Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, featuring fiction by authors who were guests during the second year of my podcast, The World Shapers. And that means I have all stories. They're all edited. And as of this morning, I know what order they're going in, I think. And I am currently in the process of assembling the stories into one manuscript, which will then be used to lay out the book, which will then allow me to send the PDF page proofs to all of the authors, get their feedback. I'll know how long the book is. I can contact the printer, get a quote, figure out the cover price, all that stuff. So very excited about that. I have some editing jobs to do, and fortunately in that they make money, unfortunately in that they'll take a lot of time. But I'll be working on this quite solidly now. So I think I'm in good shape for my original plan to have it out in October, at least the Kickstarter version. I might put the release of the commercial version into November. So yeah, it was a good week. I enjoyed it. Last 2 days writing that story, I enjoyed it a lot. It went smoothly and quickly, and I'm excited to go on to write the next thing. Oh, that squirrel just darted across the sidewalk in front of me, which will be book for my World Shaper series, which I'll be publishing myself to follow up the 3 that were published by Dog Books. So that's coming up. My next sit down and write thing I'll be doing. Always things to do. I never run out of projects I can work on, that's for sure. Okay, we'll walk along the deck here, the dike, not the deck. We head to the footbridge that you have to cross. It will be a warm walk, but pleasant enough. I think it's probably 21 or 22. Ooh, is that up? Maybe. Oh, hi. I wouldn't just went to why? No left around. There it is. Hopefully it'll pick up again here in a minute. This is Moscana Creek over here, of course. These bushes were all cut down, not cut down, but trimmed earlier, not that long ago, and they're already getting taller again. At the beginning of the spring and into early summer, they completely block any view of the other side of the creek. So I think they were cut down for safety reasons, to ensure that you were visible as you walked along here. Still showing unstable internet connection. I hope the feed stays up. I hate it when it goes down. If I don't catch it, I end up talking to myself. There's the footbridge. We'll stop for the traditional boatways along the creek. That's east. That's west. Come back, stable internet connection. Don't do this to me. We'll sort of zigzag our way over through Lakeshore here, Lakeview here, until we get over to Argyle, Montague, Argyle, whichever we hit first. So we'll dip into Lakeview here, as I often have before. As I like to point out, Lakeview neighborhood, there's only about 3 houses that actually have a view of the lake. And they have the bridge between them and the lake, so it's not much of a view, only from the upper floors. Guess we could do alley zigzags just for a change. Down the alley, make it zig again to the left. Building in front of us is Lakeview School. I guess I haven't actually walked down this alley with the school at the end of it like that. It's an old school built in, I want to say 1914, I think. Oh, nice when there's a bit of shade. I'm wearing a black shirt, which isn't the best choice for being cool on a walk, but, well, you look cool, you just don't feel cool. So that's Lakeview School in front of us. So we will zig down this street. It's quite cool when the sun goes behind the cloud. It's quite warm and the sun is shining. Funny that. It's almost like that giant nuclear fusion ball in the sky. It puts out a lot of heat and radiation. It's almost like that. Well, I've had one hello on YouTube, nobody on Facebook yet, so if you're there, say hi. If you're watching this live. If you're watching the recording, probably not worth it, although you can always leave a comment. The kids over there playing. So yeah, Lakeview School there on the side. Older houses and some newer ones. That's quite a new one. I've watched it being built. Then up here is Lakeview United Church, which I've rehearsed shows in a lot. And then we're rehearsing another one starting next week. Lyric Singers, which is part of Regina Lyric Musical Theater that I've had a long association with, past president and all that, is doing a show called Guilty Pleasures. And it's all, really catchy songs that you know and possibly love, even when you know maybe you're not supposed to think much of them. I guess that's the premise. They're just good songs as far as I can tell. Proud Mary is the one I noticed particularly. Lots of others. So it'll be a mixture of pop and jazz and Broadway stuff. I don't know if there's any Broadway stuff. Maybe it's all pop and jazz this time around. Moscana Avenue. So there's Lakeview United Church from the front. Tomorrow maybe I'll drive somewhere, walk somewhere brand new, or at least further away from here. But we were doing grocery shopping and stuff, so didn't want to have to head off again. And I didn't want to walk this morning. I quite like neat and tidy little yard. I quite like just sitting in the living room and reading and drinking coffee and doing odds and ends on weekend morning. That, of course, is a skating rink over there. No ice in it now, duh. I think it's supposed to rain again on Monday. It's supposed to be quite hot tomorrow. Oh, this is an alley, so we'll take it. 28, I think, tomorrow. Sunflowers. Lots of sunflowers around. Still, only one person has said hi so far. If you're there, say hi. I will say hi back. Had somebody following me the other day that realized I was in the neighborhood he used to live in and suggested I walk by a particular house on Rose Street where he used to live a long time ago. It's still there. So I did. I do take requests. Kind of, if they make sense. I have walked down this sidewalk, this alley before, but usually coming from up here. I recognize these modern garages which go with the modern houses on the street. Through there, can't really see them from here. More sunflowers though. They don't seem to have suffered too much in the hail. actually got a crosswalk here, so this worked out pretty good. Nice little front garden there. Once I get to Hill Avenue, I'll just head straight west, because that'll take us to the garden. Yeah, say that again. Nothing to say? I'll probably do it as soon as I quit looking at him. Yeah, sure enough. Unstable internet connection again. Hang in there. Hang in there, feed. Hopefully you haven't already failed. If you're there on YouTube, let me know that you're there, because I always worry when I see that unstable internet that the feed might have gone down. And when it just came back, so you might not even have heard me say that. Yes, as I was saying, if you're on YouTube, just let me know you're still there. So. Doesn't prove anything. People come and go. Very few people sit and watch an entire hour like this. Nobody has said hi on Facebook yet, so if you're there, say hi there as well. I'll carry on along the alley again. So, at the moment, I may be entirely alone on this walk. Nobody's watching. Okay, I don't mind. I know that nobody loves me. I've gotten a lot of unstable internet on this walk for whatever reason. So, I don't know what state the live stream is in, but the recording will be good. That's where most viewers show up, is on the recording, not on the live stream. That would be Lakeview Par 3 up ahead of us, the end of the street, I think. Maybe building a garage, it looks like. I could slam dunk that basketball net. Oh. Hello, Keith. Well, at least that tells me my feed is still up. I'm getting a lot of buffering, I think, probably on the live stream. But at least YouTube is clearly still there. So welcome. Walking to the Grow Regina Garden, I thought I'd take a look at it after the hailstorm the other night. Hopefully it didn't take too much of a beating. We're kind of south of where the worst of it was. It might have been missed entirely, which would be good. I'm not seeing a lot of leaves down over here, so I'm thinking it probably escaped anything too serious. We're not far from it now. Take a walk through the grass here. Oh, somebody else there. E.T., hi. Long way from Central Neighborhood this time. Heading over to the Grow Regina Community Garden, which is at what, Hill and Queen? Something like that. This, of course, is the Seventh-day Adventist Church here and Associated Christian School. Taking a shortcut through their parking lot. The building over there that looks like a fire hall used to be a fire hall, but it's not a fire hall anymore. It's something to do with the health department. I'm not sure exactly what's in there. Well, Seventh-day Adventist Church. They should be they had services this morning, presumably. Oh, what's that? How many Grow Regina gardens are there? There's more than one community garden, but I think this is the only one that actually says Grow Regina on it, but I don't really know. 100% for sure. Lovely little church there. I always like the looks of that one. Very neat and tidy. Small, but pleasant. I usually walk the other way along this, so that makes this a bit different. A few campaign posters here and there. I guess it's only, what, 15 days until the election? A totally unnecessary election? In my opinion. Maybe the garden's a little further south. Anyway, if I come up here, I'll be able to find it. It's Pasqua Street a little further up there, the T intersection. Too bright to read the screen at the moment, although I see there's another comment. Wait till I find a patch of shade. Oh yeah, it's a little, okay. I think I made this before. I thought it was on hill. It's a little further south. Let's see. That is what I do. I write, and I act, and I sing. That's what I currently do. Used to be a newspaper reporter, photographer, and editor in Weyburn. Yes, if we go across here and walk along the storm channel, it'll take us to where we want to be. Storm channel's empty again. I bet you it wasn't the other night. Oh, maybe not. There's more, quite a bit of water over there. Quite empty here, just muddy. Well, the number of leaves here would make me think there was some hail along here the other night. Somebody coming the other way. Hello. It's always odd to meet somebody along here. Yeah, my main website is just my name, edwardwillett.com. You can find out more than you could ever possibly want to know. That website has been around, the seeds of it were laid in the 90s. It's been redone once, but a lot of the original stuff is on there. Especially my science columns that I wrote for 20 years. Most of them are on there. They probably drive most of the traffic. People are Googling stuff and find one of my columns where I wrote about it. West Orchard, privately owned trees. Let's just get onto the path here. So let's see, how do things look? I don't think they got hit. Like, possibly, like some of the leaves, but it's hard to tell with corn. Well, maybe. There are holes, but of course holes are also caused by bugs. Lots of tomatoes there. Yeah, it looks like there might be some hail damage, but certainly not too devastating. This garden is at Queen Street is one entrance, and it's just south of Hill, a couple of blocks. So I'm not sure. I thought that was Hill up there, the cross street, but it's not. Well, mosey through it and take a look at the Vixikansky gazebo in the middle, which I always do. Again, smell a lot of dill. Very nice. Oh, those are interesting. They're not just yellow sunflowers. We're growing corn, sunflowers, stuff I don't even know what it is, tomatoes. And of course, I walked by some little fruit trees. There's more over in that corner over there. Oh, pumpkins. There are some flowers, but it's not primarily an ornamental garden. Queen and Pasqua. Well, that's why we spell Pasqua. But then again, we pronounce Regina, Regina, so, you know, what do we know? Just an anglicization of the Cree word, I'm sure. Not Regina, but Pasqua. So yeah, this is the gazebo that was made by noted local artist, or designed by noted local artist Victor Sikansky. So it's got the posts are trees, and you have leaves up there. And then down here around the bottom you have various vegetables. I'll go over here just to continue my walk through the garden. Sunflowers, sunflowers, and summit flowers. Tomatoes. I have to remember that. It's Pasqua, not Hill, across the street. Over here are some boxes for things that people want to plant in boxes, I guess. More tomatoes. Tomatoes. Got a ways to go before they're ripe. There's some flowers. Oh, the sun came out, so you can see over here is the other orchard that has more trees. There's a nice view of the way the gazebo is situated in the middle of the garden. Sort of a path along here, but not really. Again, all the trees here. And that brings us back to, I guess it's Pasqua. Now I won't go left on Pasqua. No. Wait a minute. This isn't Pasqua. Pasqua's over there. Pasqua's this way. This is Queen. I guess there isn't really a cross street. It's just on Queen, basically. They're getting close to Pasqua. Oh, right. And of course, this is also Vic Sikansky. These, we have what's called a veggie trug. So it's like a box to grow things in, the little bit that we grow. So these were also made, or this is Vic Sikansky artwork. He's most known for his ceramics, but he does do some of this laser cut sculpture as well. I thought we'd walk all the way down to Pasqua, and or did I turn myself around? Oh, I did turn myself around. Because of walking along the creek. I'll go this way anyway. Yeah, that's Pasqua down there. So, say goodbye to the garden. How long have I been out? I don't know, already over 30 minutes, so maybe I should be more or less heading back. I was going to walk to Pasqua and then walk down Regina Avenue. St. Mark's Lutheran Church here. So I think I'll start working my way back at the next street. Can't really get lost. I can always hear where the Lou van is. Also, you can tell where the airport is. Second Airjet. Dead giveaway. No, if I were walking in a completely unknown city, I would plan out my walks with considerable more care. Here, I typically just wander and, oh, okay, there's Pasqua. It was around here somewhere. And I always get my bearings eventually, even if I'm a little turned around. What usually happens is you're on a street that you think goes straight, but it actually curves. And of course, I walked along the creek bed, which curved. Anyway, we'll go up to Pasqua here, and walk down Regina Avenue and go straight home from there, I think. Always like to take a look at the edge of town, especially for people who haven't been here, to drive home the point that every one of these trees was planted by somebody. They don't grow here naturally. And nothing makes that more clear than coming to the edge of Regina and looking out over the prairies. We're currently walking toward Moose Jaw, kind of. It'd be a little off to the left if I actually walked straight in this direction. Trans-Canada between Regina and Moose Jaw is completely straight, almost completely straight. There's one curve where it crosses the railroad tracks, just a jog. Might curve a little bit when you get closer to the city, not much. King or Queen, at the first couple of blocks of Pasqua. Yeah, there's a Dairy Queen. The Dairy Queen is on Elphinstone and Saskatchewan Drive, closest to that location, I think. Well, depending on which end you're talking about of Pasqua, but there's not a Dairy Queen at the other end of Pasqua. At least not anymore. There you go. As you can see, there's the edge of town. Yeah, Keith, well, he wasn't really, he just had this idea. I was walking around. He got it in his head that I was pointing my camera at people and making fun of them, which of course I wasn't. In fact, I usually try to turn the camera away from people so they're not on it very long. But he'd gotten that in his head. He came up behind me sort of saying that as if it was to himself, but really at me. And then I told him, well, you know, it has nothing to do with you, it's not what I'm doing, move along. And he kept saying it, and anyway, I edited it out of the recording. This is the Unifor, the Union Hall. There you go, the prairie. Oh, but it's also the airport. There's a bit of a rise, so it's a bit misleading. You're not really seeing very far into the prairie. The airport's over there. And I didn't know they were tearing up all this stuff along here, so it may be very difficult to walk in spots. I've walked along these businesses before. There's a pharmacy there, which appears to be closed on Saturdays. Try not to fall in the ditch. So they're doing something over there. And that's the Lou van then, where the cars are zipping by. Grey Nuns Hospital. The hospital is still there, but it's not Grey Nuns anymore. It's called Pasqua, and you wouldn't recognize it. I don't think there's any of the old Grey Nuns left. If it is, it's buried inside newer structures. I remember Grey Nuns because my mom was in there once when I was a kid. And I remember being taken by the name, Grey Nuns. But yeah, it's the Pasco Hospital, one of the two hospitals in the city. The other being the General Hospital, which is closer to where I live. I've been in the Pasco Hospital. Wish I hadn't been, but I was. I've also been in the General Hospital. Ditto. Never for anything very serious, but boy, I hate being at the mercy of the healthcare system. What are you looking at? Yes. Ow, I guess so. We have a nice little garden here in front of this building that I like to walk through. You know, it's not much of a path, and it ends abruptly. Okay, bad choice. But maybe they can walk through the what looks like mostly weeds here without causing any harm. That one came right up in the path. This is Tai Chi Studio or gym or whatever you call it. I think the last time I was here there were pulled up plants lying in the yard, so I don't know if they're doing much on the garden this year or not. Oh, they're just working away over here. None of these places are really designed to let you walk from one parking lot to the next. It takes a bit of effort. I don't know what APAS stands for. I guess I'll find out. I've looked once before. Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan. There you go. Also, there's a nephrologist in there. I don't even know what a nephrologist is. I think we'll start down this way to head home again, instead of continuing on down Pasqua. Just a little too difficult with the work they're doing. Or will I? I don't think that goes through. All right, I'll keep going this way for a ways. Curves the wrong way, so. Well, we'll go by the Hindu temple then. Oh, what's that? Yeah, this is all quite new along Pasqua. Some of it is very new. And then, of course, over there, Harbor Landing, which I've walked through a couple of times, is really new. Maybe I'll walk there again tomorrow. So this is the Hindu temple. Okay, now we've doubled back to the road I was on previously, and I don't want to repeat myself, so I guess I will go over here, walk along the creek until I have to cross the river. Maybe go through the golf course here. I don't have to go all the way to the creek, but there might be a path that might be better than. This is a retirement home here. Over there is where Dutch growers used to be, where we used to buy our Christmas tree all the time, but it's moved out to Trans-Canada. No, there's no more of a path, just this little bit past this structure. So we'll walk through the grass. Well, alternatively, we can cross over the creek here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't like crossing the Pasqua Street bridge because you're very close to traffic there if you're not careful. We can cross the storm channel here. So again, we walked right through there when I went to the garden, so we've just done a big loop around the garden. There's more water on this side in the storm channel. Danger thin ice, yes, I would say so. I've walked through here before. Oof. You can walk right along the golf course out of bounds. So maybe I'll do that. Doesn't look too busy anyway. Or I can go down this way. I think I'll go this way. That'll just take us back sort of where we already were, while this will take us somewhere a little different. So this is the Lakeshore Par 3, I think it's called, Lakeshore. Not that there's a lake that it's has a shore on it, but maybe Lakeview Par 3. Most things are Lakeview. You have to remember for sure. Definitely signs of fall. Some of those are seed pods, but some of them are leaves. Everything just starts to get a kind of tired look towards the end of summer. What's that? Yields are not good this year. It was a drought for most of the summer. Our rain came in the last couple of weeks. There have been lots of rain, but of course by that point it doesn't do the crops all that much good. And then we had hail, so yeah, it hasn't been a great crop year. But we have had lots of rain now, and hopefully that'll set things up better for next spring. We'll see. Of course, we'll stay way over here to the left to avoid getting hit. And try not to break my leg, in a gopher hole. Or roll down the hill into the creek. I played this once or twice. In fact, I played it the day of my wedding. I and my brothers came and played golf here that morning. It was raining too, which kind of worried us, but it all turned out beautiful by the end of the day. And our anniversary is coming up. September 27th will be our 24th anniversary. And I know from that year that the leaves will be falling by then, so that's how close we are to autumn. There'll probably could easily be frost. That year there was frost before the 27th because the flowers had gone. Well, we'll see. It's more the lighting. After all the rain we had, it's actually quite green. Much greener than I would normally expect it to be this time of year. My yard is as lush as it's been all year, which is annoying because I just about decided I wouldn't have to mow again, but I'm going to have to mow tomorrow. A little more taste of more prairie-like looking that way. Columbus Field, I think that is. Something like that. Baseball field anyway. This will be a longer than usual walk by the time I get home. That's okay, it's Saturday. And some have been short this week, so it balances out. It's still probably 20 minutes from home. Which is over there, a ways. Lakeview. Okay, it is called Lakeview. Why did I think it was called Lakeshore? I don't know. Well, we'll go down their driveway here. Well, I don't need to go through the driveway. I'll walk through the grass again, over here, in this bit of park. This bit o' park. It's tennis courts here too, next to the clubhouse, which is behind those trees. It's not much of a clubhouse. Oh, this is wet. Maybe I won't do that. Didn't expect that. I'll go over here and walk down past the tennis court, but we'll stay on the dry ground. See, the grass is quite green, and that wouldn't be a patch that's watered either. I wouldn't think. Might be, but I don't think so. Well, tennis. Don't you just love tennis? Ba-dum-bum. There we go. Maybe we'll take this alley here. Now we're headed home. Somebody's barbecuing. I didn't have lunch. No wonder that smells so good. I'd be coming from the clubhouse. You can buy hot dogs and hamburgers in there. Oh, that startled me. Yeah, I've noticed, like if I just put this on our TV, it's overly vivid colors. Unless I put it on one of the other settings, multiple settings, of course. Nice little sports car. We've been watching a show I was aware of but had never watched called The Grand Tour on Amazon Prime. I quite love it. It's a car show, kind of. It's a lot of other things too. Not for the faint of heart if you're easily offended. There's the airport in Pasqua Street. We're going, that was Kings Road. Or rather, this is this is Moscana Street, and that was Kings Road. Yeah, that was an MG. Saw a car at the golf club the other day that I somehow had missed the fact that this was a car brand now called Genesis. And it's actually a Hyundai, but it's a high-end brand of Hyundai designed to compete with things like Audis and BMWs. Nice looking car. Well, we've been Volvo drivers now for 20 years, I guess. Almost 20 years since we bought the first one. Although, they come and go. Like, I like our current Volvo, which is a 2015, but I've driven one of the newer ones, and they've put this enormous touch screen in it that I quite hate. Ours has a screen, but it's not a touch screen. And I don't know, I just don't like the looks of it. So I'm hoping the next generation is better. Well, by the time we buy one, it'll probably be mostly electric anyway. Yeah, it is a good show, I think. I'm sure some people hate it. I used to read all the car magazines. I used to subscribe to Car and Driver. Never really subscribed to Motor Trend because Car and Driver was better, but I read it sometimes. There's a magazine called Automobile, and I loved them, but I quit at some point. But there were years there where I knew every car the minute I saw it, and now it's far more, only if I can see the nameplate, with certain exceptions. This is Regina Avenue up here, which will take us straight on back home. Colorful. It's a new show we started watching that I really quite like called Only Murders in the Building, starring and created by Steve Martin, Selena Gomez, and Martin Short. I recommend it. Well, we have them here too. We're certainly in Saskatoon. There's a Porsche dealership in Saskatoon. You can buy Audis and BMWs, Mercedes. Lexus. Maybe not a Rolls Royce. In fact, I was at the launch of the Porsche dealership. Von Wyant, which has a lot of the high-end car dealerships. Von Wyant Group, or Von Wyant, whatever you call the company as a whole. And the Volvo dealership. I like going there. They give you if you're a Volvo owner, they give you a high-end loaner. Nice loaner Volvo. In fact, once I got a Range Rover because it was all kind of connected. And they wash the car before they give it back to you, which is nice. Unlike, Joe's garage and lunch counter or whatever. All right, now we're on Regina Avenue, so just a straight walk down here, back across the bridge and home. Walking away from the airport, which is directly down the road behind me. Yeah, that would be in Saskatoon too, I think. I don't think it's here. I know somebody who works for Ford and asked about all electric cars in Saskatchewan's climate. And she said, well, the most inefficient use of, or the thing that really drains battery power more than anything else, is heat. So, I still think an internal combustion engine is the best choice for a Saskatchewan winter. I would think so, yeah. Taylor's, I think so. Haven't looked at cars in Regina for a very long time because there isn't a Volvo dealership, and we bought a Volvo, so we bought it in Saskatoon. So I haven't really been shopping for cars here. I'm not 100% sure what there is. But yeah, Taylor Motors is still a thing. Sheldon Williams Collegiate is over there. There's my 1 hour mark, I think. So yeah, this will be a little bit longer. It usually is when I go to the garden. If I'd come straight back, it might not have been. But there's a very straight piece of road and a very straight piece of sidewalk. A good example of what they call the vanishing point in art, study of perspective. I've walked in most of the southern half of the city, I think, not out in the extreme southeast. Walked out to the west end, and I've walked on the south end, but I don't necessarily start from here. That'd be too much. Walked up and down South Albert. I'll do that again sometime. That was a popular one. I should hit the university again, except classes are in session, so there'd be more people around. Walking there during the summer, it was a ghost town, except for maintenance workers. But I often get extra viewers for anything at the university because of prospective students, I think. Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, that's true. On really cold days, you want to be sure it's plugged in. Newer cars are better at that. People who are new to the prairies sometimes wonder why there are electrical cords dangling out of the front of the cars. East of Winnipeg on Douglas. I've done out to Winnipeg. I haven't gone east of Winnipeg. That is one area I haven't really gone. I've done east of Winnipeg, south of College, some. I've been in Douglas Park and worked my way up from there a bit north and all that sort of thing, but only a couple of times. I repeat myself, but you know, like I said, there's a guy that inspired all this who walks in Manhattan. Walking Commuter is his channel if you want to check it out. And he repeats himself all the time. He's been through Central Park dozens of times. I don't know where I'll go tomorrow. I might go out east somewhere. I don't think I'll walk around here because I've done that all week. All right, I'll cross the street here. I still have time. Barely. Strip mall here and condos next to it. Didn't even need to press the button. I walked along the creek several times, so I think I'll just walk along Saskatchewan Drive and keep it simple. I mean, Regina Avenue. Some newish houses over there, one that's still being worked on, it looks like. Yeah, there's lots of live walkers around, which is better than The Walking Dead. Ba-dum-bum. I think I may be the only one in Regina, but I can't swear to that. Certainly New York has plenty. Toronto has some. Probably quite a few. Larger cities. We've seen one in Seoul, I think. Barcelona, places like that. Some are that don't talk, they just walk, which has a certain appeal, but I'm too much of a blabbermouth to. I've done it a couple of times. It's really weird for me not to talk when I'm doing this, because that's what I've been doing since I started. Walking in the rain, not talking, is kind of nice because of the sound of the rain on the umbrella and everything. So I did that. There's a guy that drives around Regina. That's interesting. That's all very well, but you see more walking than you do driving. I can cut across the grass. Anyway, the main reason I do it is because it motivates me to walk every day, which is, valuable for health reasons. The audio is good as long as it stays up, and I think recently my microphone has been charging properly. This is my second one of these microphones. The first one quit. It wasn't the microphone, it was the charger pack, I think. It just quit charging the microphone. And when it quits, if you don't catch the fact that there's a little blue light on the adapter that flashes slowly when you're connected, if you don't notice that going down, and start flashing quickly, you just fall silent. And then you're talking to yourself, and it doesn't even record on the phone, so. Well, I grew up in Weyburn. For me, Regina was the big city, and we only went to once in a while. So when I moved here, well, I moved here in 1988, so there's been plenty of changes just since then. I do want to go down and walk in Weyburn, because I can talk about it all day since I grew up there and worked there for 8 years at the Weyburn Review. Take another look to the west, down Moscana Creek. And to the east. I walked along the dike coming, so I will go down onto the road to carry on home. Ooh. Yeah, the bridge has been there a long time. I think it was refurbished at some point. That was a while ago now itself. And watching this house being built since I started these walks back in March. It's a big one, 2 lots. Very nice, very modern. Quite large. There's lots of new houses down in these neighborhoods. The little old ones have been replaced by much bigger ones. Because as I mentioned on a previous walk, I lived 1 street over from here when I first moved to, not when I first moved to Regina, but a couple of years after I moved to Regina, I moved there. And then moved to the house we're in now when I got married, because it's my wife's family home's been in the family since 1939 when her grandparents bought it. Take another walk by this very interesting architectural special here. This one. I would love to see inside it to see how it's laid out and how the narrow slit windows work and look. And they have, it's a two-lot arrangement too, but their second part here is this wonderful garden, which is sizable. And you can see it's just a very interesting house. Another modern one there. That's a new one as well. More new ones than old ones along here, I think. So that little one over there would be more original to the neighborhood. Or this one. Yeah. Yeah, housing is relatively cheap in Regina compared to other parts of the city, of the country for sure. An old house, a good-sized one, not these little ones, but you know, it's a bigger one, two-story. And this neighborhood would probably be evaluated or assessed at $350,000, $400,000. But to build new, you'd spend more than that. These ones, very new. And then I like this one over here. This is an old, these are condos now. We don't have a lot of row houses, but I like these because I think it's a heritage property too. They just recently replaced one of these porches completely, and they did a great job of matching it to the others. Can you tell which one it was? It was that one. You can tell by the new shingles. There you go. Henderson Terrace, it's called. 1913. Back in the spring, I came by just after that tree had fallen and snapped, and branch was laying on this garage on the other side of the street. Getting close now. Yeah, we were talking to somebody who's moving to Toronto, and it was like they're talking about this pretty small condo, 1.3 million or something like that. Here's a nice one, new one. With, well, not exactly underground parking, but half underground parking, and then the older style next to it. Oh, pussycat. Hello, you're very pretty. Hi, can you say hello? Yeah? No? I guess not. You're pretty though. Yeah, I'd like to see in that one too. Oh, for a minute I thought this was Halloween decorations already. Seemed a little early. But it's an interesting play structure. Huh. Haven't seen that before, so I think it might be kind of new. One more block. He was a pretty cat, but he wasn't one of those that wants to get everybody petting him. I'd like to mention this house, which was used in a movie back in the 90s starring Linda Carter. They filmed in this neighborhood, and they filmed on location inside the house. And our neighborhood, well, I lived back over in Garnet Street then. the neighborhood was done up to look like an American neighborhood, so there were, you know, American post office boxes and American police cars and things like that. It was kind of fun. I never saw the movie. I don't remember what it was called. Might be able to find it if I Googled. Probably fairly forgettable. I think it might even have been a Hallmark special or something like that. All right, well, we will stop at this stop sign here, as I always do. And there we go. I'll stop here. So thanks for walking with me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.